Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Worthiness Codes podcast. I'm your host, Jaclyn Francis, and as always, it is so beautiful to be in this space with you today. First things first, before we dive into the episode, I literally just electrocuted myself. I don't think I've ever done that before, but setting up my ring light, I touched something like the battery because the panel of the battery fell off, and I thought it would be smart to just like touch it. Legit electrocuted myself. That was so weird. One day, mark my words, one day we will be in a studio and we won't have janky ring lights. So we're not using the ring light today, but anyway, I hope your day is going beautifully, maybe, hopefully, better than mine is. But we are grateful to be here. I am so honored and grateful to be here as always. Today, we're opening up a whole new passage. We are diving into passage 4 and working our way to awaken the worthiness code of higher self. This, I think, is one of my favorite passages. It's something that I, through my own ascension journey, have really seen a shift within myself. So, to just get into everything, the energy here within this passage is held within the Crown Chakra. That's the 7th chakra. It's the space above your head. This chakra is the connection to your higher self, connection to source, to God, to the universe, whatever you feel comfortable calling that connection. It's, your spiritual self, understanding that nothing is what it seems at surface level ever. There's a deeper reason to everything, and it's really beginning to understand that. So, over these next 2 episodes, and of course, through the journal prompt and guided meditation that is available at theworthinesscode.com, we will be healing the pedestal, the shadow of ignorance, by transmuting the energy found within the crown chakra to shift into the pathway, the midpoint, the transformational energy of self-awareness to ultimately awaken and deepen your connection to your higher self. So today we will be focusing on the pedestal, the shadow of ignorance, the pathway, that midpoint transformational energy of self-awareness. And next week we will be diving into the pillar, the worthiness code of higher self, talking about how to awaken it and all of the amazing things that are rooted within this passage. So the theme here is gaining a deeper understanding. This energy, I like to refer to it as your awakening. It's within this part of the journey where you will begin to see a deeper shift within yourself. Once you can identify your own ignorance and gain a deeper sense of self-awareness, this is how you step into your self-mastery. And your self-mastery is within that connection to your higher self. We will get into that next week. But if you have pen and paper, your notes app, as always, highly suggest taking notes. This is going to be a really profound part of the journey. As always, I say that, I know, but it really is. I mean, like I said, it was the one for me. And look, just to share with you guys, I mean, I went through something within my personal life very recently where I was really revisiting the last worthiness code of truth and sitting with my wounding and acceptance and having to discern between what was my wounding, what was my truth, working through it within therapy as well as on my own. And as the situation that I was moving through came to a close, I saw just how really incredible my sense of self-awareness has become. And that's not to flex on you guys at all. It's to reflect to you that This journey is constant. You will be thrown things in life where you can lean into your ignorance, you can play victim, you can blame others. But once you choose to always go within, to tap into your own self-awareness, life really does become very, very different. And the way that you carry yourself and the way that you move on from difficult situations becomes so much easier. And you can hold yourself with grace because you understand just how worthy you are. And you don't have to choose your wounding over your truth, right? You don't have to choose your doubt over faith. You don't have to choose control over surrender. And as we'll get into today, you don't have to choose your ignorance over your higher self, over that expansive sense of self-awareness that you are capable of gaining and holding on to and continuing to deepen as you move through this journey. Because when you say yes and you move through all of the codes one time, you then gain the awareness to understand when things arise in your life, how to move through them more deeply, how to come back to all of these tools and use them to your advantage, to tap into your self-mastery. Okay, so let's get into it. We will start, as always, with the pedestal, the shadow of ignorance. So what this means, when I think of ignorance, I think of these dense energies that you tend to take on and step into during difficult situations. So think playing the victim, think just blaming others, pointing the finger, taking every situation for what it is at surface level and moving from there. Your ignorance is really seeing things just at the surface. That's the easiest way to put it. And because you see things at the surface, it is then when you decide, most of the time subconsciously, but decide to take on those identities, those roles, and to not go within yourself. So it's really important to go within here and to see, I mean, you all hold ignorance. This is life, right? It's attached to wounding. It's attached to your patterns and your beliefs and your upbringing and your ego and all of the things that we've talked about and will continue to talk about. But it's important within this shadow to do the work by going within and asking yourself, what are the ignorances that want to be looked at right now? What are the ones that tend to come up? And go deeper and ask yourself how it comes up. Most of the time, when you are triggered by the way that you react, it's going to show you where your ignorance is. And so this is all about sitting with yourself. The journal prompts are really good for this. Sitting with yourself so you can find the root, find the why. If you tend to play the victim, there is a root to that. You just don't tend to play the victim for, no reason. Most likely, as you figured out within the last passage, when you sat with your wounding, it's probably tied to your childhood, to your upbringing, to what you know, to what made you feel safe and what made you feel comfortable in those moments of tension. So it's all about identifying your own ignorances, how they come up, when they come up, and finding the why. So if you want to take a moment right now, you can pause the podcast and you can dive into it. What pops into your mind without judgment? If you're on a walk and you're listening to this, or you're driving and you're listening to this without judgment, what pops up for you? Go deep into it. Okay? Do you tend to just take things for face value and never look at, okay, let's see, this person acted in a way and they're just an a-hole, or she's just being, a bitch, or whatever the situation is, you're just labeling the person, blaming them instead of, and we're going to get into this within self-awareness, but instead of asking yourself, maybe this situation isn't what it seems like at first glance. they're acting a certain way. What is that showing me? Because if this person is a mirror, because that's how you can look at everything in life, everything is an opportunity for growth. Everyone is a mirror to go within yourself and see why you're being triggered, why you responded in the way that you did, why you're choosing to play victim or to blame or to be angry. Okay? So just ask yourself, again, without judgment, from a place of compassion, a place of truth. Where are you at? What tends to come up? So now, once you can identify what your core ignorances are, and it's going to be different for everyone. Again, you all hold so many layers. There are so many attachments, so many identities. I don't serve you, and it's not your fault. This is all part of who you are. But it's about letting these parts not control you anymore, integrating these parts into the aspect of your higher self so you can be guided from that deeper place where your self-worth lives and breathes. So as you shift and become aware of your ignorances and how they show up and why they show up and where they show up, this is how you cultivate self-awareness. So what does self-awareness mean? This is your ability to tune in to your feelings, your thoughts, your actions. It's simply your ability to reflect, to go within, to ask yourself why. It's all about reflection. Again, it's not taking things for surface value. There is always a deeper meaning. And when you can see that deeper meaning within yourself and have a much stronger sense of self-awareness, you gain such compassion for other people as well. Because everyone is essentially a child dressed in an adult body. When you don't heal your wounds, you're acting from the place of those inner child wounds. So when you can begin to see, okay, this person, did they quote unquote do me wrong? They may have, but are you going to choose your ignorance and choose to not forgive, to play the victim, to point the finger, to say, well, they're the asshole. I deserve better. And though, yeah, that can all be true. The self-awareness allows you to have compassion because you can understand and you can see where they're also coming from and how they are teaching you something and what is their reaction showing in you. So self-awareness is a double-edged sword. It really is, but it allows you to really be so grounded and rooted in this human experience where your power is never taken outside of yourself, because that's the point. You are meant to stand in your power. And that is your self-mastery. So just a quick little exercise here again for you. Ask yourself without judgment, do you consider yourself to be self-aware? It can be yes, it can be no. You may not know. You may have never even thought about this before. Quick little tidbit of like how you can even judge this. When you're walking down the street, do you see the lack of self-awareness in other people when it comes to space and their understanding that they are not the only ones walking on the sidewalk? Or when you're standing in line and maybe someone is standing right up next to you, right? That is also self-awareness. So to just start there, like, do you pick up on those things? Do you see that within yourself, that you're also very aware of what's going on in your surroundings? So again, awareness has many layers to it. The self-awareness part, the deeper layer of that is the ability to go within. That's just if you don't know where your self-awareness is, you can start by looking at that part and seeing, okay, like, yeah, I pick up on that. I see that in other people. So that just goes to show you that your self-awareness is higher than the majority of people on this planet. So ask yourself without judgment, rate it between 1 and 10. Again, you can pause the podcast and take notes if you're not, in a car driving. And the journal prompts go so in depth, and I've created the journal prompts to be a deepening within every passage. So it builds upon one another, because all of these passages, all of these activation points, there's 21 activation points held within the 7 passages to awaken the 7 worthiness codes. They are all intertwined. It is a literal like quantum weave that you are doing on this journey. So it is created to deepen within each worthiness code, within each journal prompt. And this one will really help you understand where your ignorance is and how to cultivate a deeper sense of awareness. So once you understand within yourself where your self-awareness lies, I want you to then ask, how can you go within and use the self-awareness that you currently obtain to take a deeper look at your ignorances? A really easy way to tie this all together, a really easy, simple practice for you. I'm sure you're triggered multiple times a day. It can be something small. It can be something bigger if you're moving through something difficult within your life. If you're in a relationship, it's probably easier to get triggered because you're sharing your life with another person who is a very sacred mirror for you to grow. So if you have kids, I'm sure, I don't have children, but if you do, I'm sure you get triggered very, very often. So again, reflection. When you are triggered, if you have something on your heart, top of mind, sit with that, or wait until the next time you are triggered and look at how you reacted. See what that trigger showed you. See what that person, that situation as a mirror is showing you. How are you responding? Are you pointing the finger? Are you attaching to these energies that aren't serving you, these emotions that aren't serving you? So the key thing here is when you point the finger, point it back at yourself. Instead of pointing it at someone else, always point it back at yourself. And that does not mean that no one else can ever be wrong moving forward, or that you won't be hurt, or you won't be disappointed, or someone can be an asshole. That doesn't mean it. It just means that you're not allowing the person or the situation to take your power from you. Within those moments, this is about you cultivating inner peace. This is about you staying in your power. This is about you healing and growing. Because when you can do that, you truly can move through difficult situations in life so much easier, with so much more grace. So remember, your ignorances are only keeping you at that lower vibration. Allow yourself to see them and shift into a deeper sense of self-awareness. Because when you can move with a very strong, a very clear self-awareness, that is how you can awaken the connection to your higher self. Your higher self is that part of you that is unattached from the wounding, that has no ego, that is that highest aspect, that highest version with all of the highest aspects of you, that is anchored into her self-mastery. So when you can be guided from there and begin to embody that, that is truly how you stay anchored into your power. And it's all a part of the inner ascension. So I invite you to, after this episode, reflect, go deeper. Next time you get triggered, remember, point the finger back at yourself. Don't let anyone or anything take your power away. And of course, you're not perfect. You will act a fool here and there. We're human. So always have compassion, always come from a place of non-judgment. Know that you are worthy of being in this space. So until next time, I love you. I love you. I love you. Bye.